interesting. He can be listed as an edge, as an outside linebacker, as a defensive tackle. And when you watch him play, he really does kind of show that versatility and just a really interesting player. And I guess I don't have a huge opinion on this one until I see how it comes together. I think it could be awesome. I think it could be confusing. I think it could be a bad decision. So I'm gonna have to reserve judgment until I see more of the plan. My first thought when seeing some of his film was thinking back to like the late stages Lorenzo Alexander, and he's kind of like one of those awesome Buffalo legends from terrible team history. Um, but towards the tail end, he did a ton of, playing linebacker and, blitzing from that position and getting down in a stance and playing some D tackle, kicking out to edge. And that's kind of the role that I could see here. And with that in mind, does that preclude us from adding another, edge guy? I still have my hopes firmly set on, Trey Hendrickson at this point. Obviously, by this point in free agency, we saw that it really was, in fact, about money and not championships for Myles Garrett. He returns to the Browns. Raiders locking up Max Crosby shortly before that. Some of these, mid-tier names disappearing from free agency. And by all accounts, it appears that Hendrickson is at least still somewhat available. Who knows what happens there? I would say that I'm very interested to see how this player works out and what it looks like in our defense. I would also say that I would be disappointed if that was like the final move at, pass rush, D tackle, wherever you want to kind of list him in here. Which kind of brings me to my next caveat, something I meant to say at the top of the show. The roster is very, very far from being set. We still have the remainder of free agency. We still have the draft. We still have that next wave of free agency after the draft as, teams see how everything's coming together and they find that they can move on from players. There's still a ton of time to work with here. So simultaneously would be disappointed if this was, the final move. I would also be wildly surprised if that was the final move.